Welcome to the channel, Martha.
Thank you for having me here, Festus. Appreciate it. I love your content.
Thank you. Thank you. So today we're going to talk about weak men. And there's a lot of them. Well,
but there's just a lot of strong men too out there. So
right. So what is the difference? What is a weak man versus a strong man? What does that look like to you?
I think it has more to do like with the mental than it does anything else. Like, I mean, I really do appreciate, like, for example, like but back then, like in the caveman days, like when women picked which men to be with, it would always be the strongest, the men who would be able to go get the meat out there and then bring it back. That's who they would reproduce with, and that's how it's always been, like since like the beginning of time. So it's always somebody that you feel like you could feel protected by, safe by, I think both emotionally, physically, and things of that nature. I feel like I don't respect someone who I feel like, don't respect themselves, for example. So it's just a man who respects themselves.
How does someone not respect themselves?
I think not having discipline. Like the men that lack discipline are the ones that are, out there with a whole bunch of vices. They can't, like, I don't know, they can't, like, it just feels like they are lost in their vices and not in control of their own life, if that's a good way to put it.
No, I absolutely agree. I thought I was going to disagree more starting off, to be honest. But I definitely agree. A lot of the time I actually feel like I can't give myself to everybody, similar to how a woman feels, right? You can't just give yourself to everybody. And the reason for that is, like, it shouldn't be that easy. It shouldn't be that easy to think that you can get with me,
Right.
So being disciplined in that regard, especially when you have those options, right? So for most guys, at least from what I've been hearing, they don't necessarily have the options to go out and get a whole bunch of women, right? So similar to a woman, they can go and get a bunch of men. You start to be more selective. You start to look at things differently. Like, oh, I'm not going to talk to this person. I'm not going to talk to that person. You might even think about subconsciously, oh, I could have been with this person, but I wasn't, right? Those are the things that women might deal with. The only reason I know that is because I have those similar situations, right? I could have been with this woman, but I chose not to deal with her. A lot of men don't even have that opportunity to think like that to begin with. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And to give like an example on that, for like there was this guy who I had a conversation with, and I asked him, like, how you wanted to be viewed, because he's also one of those people who, like, he's really focused on financial, like he wants to make a lot of money, and like that's like his goal, and he's 26 years old, has a kid, but he's focused on money. But like I know a few people that he slept with that don't give a fuck. So it's like I know the type of person that he slept with, and then he comes to me, it's like, well, I want a high value woman. Then why would you give yourself, like, you already made me think that you're this type of guy,
right?
Because you just put your dick anywhere, basically. So it's like
but when you say they don't give a fuck, you mean they don't give a fuck about life. They're just out here doing whatever.
They don't pay attention to the consequences or how they're viewed as, when another woman can see that even though they claim that they're this type of man or discipline or whatever and just focus financially, when they can put their dick pretty much in anywhere and anything, and they don't even know where it's been, So like for me, I like lose respect for that person.
Right.
Even as a dating person, like that's someone I wouldn't want, like, even around me, because if you're not careful about what you're doing with that person, then why would I think that you would be careful with me,
Right.